Hi. Hi, guys.
There he
Uh-oh.
is.
You saw his voice?
Is it Sexy Puffy?
This is JD's podcast, JD's Rubber Boots podcast. We're gonna sit and relax and tell you all sorts of stories. Talk about life and little sports. You know we're gonna play some games. And if nothing else, you know we're gonna have a laugh. We're gonna have a laugh, oh yeah.
Podcast. Oh, that's right. How many weeks have we been doing this now? And every week I expect to hear Lester's theme, and then I forget that we're all in our own homes and can't hear any theme, and that Stoff adds everything in post, including his own funny comments.
Exactly.
I've written some good ones for this week.
I should add, too, for our listeners who can't see, and for Puffy who just came on, that Lester and Stoff have the same background today.
How's that possible?
So that Lester's is real, and Stoff took a photo of it like last week and then made it his fake background.
Hilarious.
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim.
It's we'll try to hold on. I'll take a photo and try to put it out there so that people know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But Lester has a photo of what is like a musical photo of like a sax, keyboard, and it's now Stoff's virtual background.
That's the whole thing there. If you can see
much
it there.
funnier in person.
You know, but quick
podcast.
story behind that. I actually was on vacation in the Dominican Republic at a resort, and on the night, one of the nights, they open up the resort, and local artists can come in, and so they have a flea market. And I saw this painting. It just grabbed me immediately. So $80 US, came home and framed it, and here it is. So, that's
I
the
say
story.
it's very representative of you.
Well, that's why it grabbed me immediately. So, I mean, the socks in the middle especially, it's in my living room here. And I always said that even when I was a kid, when I had my own place, I would always surround myself with music and instruments and imagery like that. So here we are.
Yeah. And rebounders and
Massage chairs.
Massage chairs. Hey, speaking
but
of
also musical art.
And the doll.
Yes. But if I could actually start the week that was.
Hello.
Well, I'm sorry. I guess, sorry, Jimmy, maybe you throw it away.
At least sing the theme first.
Let's discuss the week that was with James Duffy and the Rubber Boots podcast crew.
And the rubber...
Of course you can start, Lester. Go ahead.
That's exactly what I was waiting for. So speaking of massages, I actually, my massage therapy clinic opened up, and I went and had my first massage in the pandemic era.
Oh, I thought you owned a massage therapy clinic.
I'm not going to lie, that's what it sounded like.
You're in the lead.
Lester leaves some money on the side. No, I went and, very safe. It's a company called Level Wellness, and they're great. And the protocols were very, very simple. You go in, sanitize everything. You're the only client that's in there. They walk you into the room, masks, the whole bit.
One sec. Do you usually have more than one person in there with you?
They stack them one on top of the other.
Oh my God. One client at a time in the clinic is what I meant to say.
Oh, and the whole clinic. Okay.
Yes, I know.
Do they hose you down?
They don't hose you down. Why do I get the feeling that this whole segment's going to be cut? The executive producer's going to call you after and go, no, stop, take it out. I didn't like it.
Did you get the Ethiopian treatment?
The tiny towel?
I did not. But, in all seriousness, very, very, very sanitary. They explained everything. They tell you what they do in terms of what the precautions they're taking. So It's important. It's important. I don't know if you guys go chiropractic. I know, Jimmy, you've gone to chiropractic and massage and stuff like that. So it's good as we see Ontario open up.
Did
here a little bit.
Did you wear a mask during the massage?
Here's what I did. I actually wore a mask in there. Once my face was in the table, I put the mask under my chin.
Okay.
While she was working my back. But then when I flipped over, I put the mask on again. And she's got a mask on the whole time. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's doable. What do you like? I know you got something smart to say, Puppy. I can see it in your face.
I don't know about smart, but he's got something.
So I got the guy, the air conditioner repairman just left. And
did he leave because you were there?
yeah, I came home early from golf.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson. It's no problem.
He was just running out the back. It had to happen. Brooksy, after 3 months of this, Brooksy finally had to bow to her desires. What happens is we have a loft in the west wing of the house where Jared lives, of the compound. And it's got one of those air conditioning units that's like inside, like the air conditioning units inside the garage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ductless like air conditioning.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've talked about this before. I don't know stuff. that could be the name of this pod. I don't know stuff. And it's a source of shame in my life and continual shame. And I can continue to vow that I will learn more about stuff, but I don't know. And I think that it plagues this generation. Anyway, the guy, he was one of those repairmen who wants to explain everything to you, thinking that you understand it.
Wow.
So he says he's got some gauge, checking the pressure of something. And he says, yeah, the pressure is supposed to be at a 150, and it's a 9. And I'm like, and he looks at me and he doesn't say anything. And I go, yeah, okay. So how do we get that sucker back up to a 150? And I always want to try to sound smart. I always want to say, you think it's a valve issue? I think it's a valve issue. There's no valves involved with this thing. But it's always, those are the worst, most embarrassing moments for me when the guy realizes, you go through, you kind of fake it for 10 minutes. And then he realizes you don't know anything at all about anything. And he actually said to me, do you understand how an air conditioner works? I said, well, there's a fan, and the fan turns, and it goes, the stuff goes through, and the air comes in, and it gets cold.
Wow.
And then I just sheepishly walked off and said, just charge me whatever, just to please leave. Get out of my life. But isn't this are any of you guys Fix-It guys? Have we had this conversation?
No.
No, I'm the exact opposite, if anything.
Right.
I'm at the point where depending on what it is, I will give it a go. My one of the things about my dad that's cool is that he comes from an engineering background. So even if he couldn't fix something like with proper parts, he'd always kind of MacGyver things. So I kind of like trying to do that. Okay, this is a temporary fix or whatever. This does the same thing. So, but it depends on what it is. I'm not gonna profess that I know about air conditioning either, though. So I would be.
But don't you think that's our entire generation to an extent? I'm not saying there's always been handymen and people that couldn't do things. Excuse me. My dad was somewhere in the middle as well, but he would never let me. He was such a perfectionist. He would never let me do anything, and so I never learned anything. But now Jared doesn't know anything. Yeah. Jared's kid's not going to know anything. Darian and Gracie don't really know much, and so it's like now it's once it dies with one generation, it's hard to get it reborn, don't you think?
Yeah.
Because
for
whether
sure.
it's the father or the mother who is handy and can teach their kids, if you don't, and so I just don't know what's going to happen in like a couple of 100 years. There's going to be nobody that can do jack.
Well, look, I mean, it's not like we don't have the internet. I mean, for case in point, I have this stackable washer and dryer that I had to get out of my house. I wanted to figure out how I could do it, but essentially I had to take it apart. I had to take apart the washer and dryer. And you can go on YouTube and they'll show you step by step how to do it. It's quite amazing.
So you succeeded at that?
I did.
So
yeah.
I've done stuff like that too, out of necessity, just not to want to pay someone to do it. But my issue is more not that I don't understand how things work. I'm just not particularly great at fixing things with my hands. Like, I'm not either precise enough with it or whatnot. And so, like, if there's a task, let's say putting together a barbecue, and on the box it will say estimated time 3 hours, that for me is going to be, like we're entering day 5.
Well,
We're still trying to get the grill part on, so it just takes me a whole lot longer. I'm not that particularly great at it, but I'll give it a go here and there.
yeah. If I could speak to that, I assembled the barbecue once. I'll never, ever do it again. I'll pay for it every time now because it's not easy. No, not at all.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of these things, sometimes, the pieces don't fit, completely right, and you might have to have the know-how how to do something. I had another adventure with my, when we bought the house, our dryer for the clothes, I guess the hose to go outside, to pump the air outside, wasn't connected, and I had to do that myself. And the way the piping is in my basement, I had to basically get a bunch of these elbow pieces, and it was a really complex thing. It took me the entire weekend. I dropped like 10 different pipes on my head. It was a hellish experience, but I didn't have to pay someone $300 to do it. So it's one or the other.
Yeah, there is a costs benefit analysis that I've usually found that having the guy come is the way to go 90% of the time. But it is unbelievably satisfying when the few things I've actually done, like Brooksy had a problem with her bike, and the brakes weren't working on her bike. So that's not a very complicated thing, I've realized. Yeah. But I looked at it for about an hour. I stared at it, and then I went and pulled my bike over, and I was like, okay, this one little cord's not attached. And it actually took about 4.5 seconds. But I'm like, yeah. I come in a little grease on my hands. She's like, what's going on? Working on your bike. Fix the brakes. Gave you a brake job. You were down to nothing. I did change the brake pads. It was a valve problem.
But the satisfaction, right?
She made love to you that night for sure.
That's right. And there was no valve problem. Yeah. You know what I mean? Valve to a penis.
No
issue with piping or anything. Yes, I get it. I pick up what you're putting down.
A lot of this stuff is,
and the
a lot of it is actually just confidence. If you actually just believe you know what you're doing, it's actually none of it's that hard. But like most people like that,
I don't know if that's completely true.
It is. It's 100% confidence. You know what you're doing, like going to a bar. And you want to pick up a girl, if you have confidence you'll do it, you're going to do it.
Yeah,
that is so wrong.
100%. Sure. But like when it comes to my car, for example, which we know has had its issues, me being confident that I can fix the brakes doesn't mean I should drive the car afterwards.
If you believe that you can do it and you just go in there and start making things happen, the car's going to get fixed.
These are the inspirational speeches I come here for.
Are you still listening to that? What was that Oprah endorsed DVD called the Power or something about a decade ago? Where it's all about the power of positive thinking, and if you thought you were gonna, get a Porsche, the Porsche would suddenly arrive the next day.
Wow.
What was it called? The Dream. Look it up, stop, and edit the damn thing in.
The book James is referring to is called The Secret.
It made $1 gazillion.
I think Peter Popoff had a similar thing with the Miracle Water.
That's right. How's everybody doing besides all that?
Well, pretty good.
Yeah, hanging in.
Back in the studio this week for the first time. Bobby and I taped the Bob McKenzie Final Draft Rankings show, which may or may not be final because we may have to do another one in the fall before the draft. Notably absent from the studio, Puffy. Not sure what happened there.
They felt that was too much of a. They didn't believe I'd be social distancing from you.
Probably true. It was pretty funny because Billy D's the producer, and Billy needed me in there at I think 7 a.m. or 7:30. We were going to package a double ender, which is a TV phrase that means quite often I will do an interview with someone and ask the questions from home in my skivvies, and then I will go back into the studio and re-ask the question. So they will tape the person on the other end, but I will have to re-ask the question so you can see my ugly mug on the other end. That's called packaging a double ender. We had to do one of those. So they hadn't been in the studio either. The whole crew's been stuck at home, and so Billy was nervous and said, we got to get going. And at 7:30 he said, all right, Jimmy, I was sitting at my desk. Let's fire this thing up. And I said, Billy, there's nobody here. The entire studio was dark. He's like, what? I'm like, you guys are in the control room. There's no one here. So the security apparently wasn't letting the crew in because they were used to not letting anybody in, I guess, for the last few months. So lighting guys, sound guy, and the camera guys were stuck in the parking lot.
Brutal. You know what? I mean, I know there's certain protocols that you have to go into the facilities now. So I think it's probably part of it. But come on. Like, who's going to lie about having to go to work? What's going on, Jimmy?
Hey, Stoff, do you have this end of days tempest going on right now in Bradford?
It was a little dark before, and now we're just getting a whole lot of rain. But it's been kind of on and off like this the past couple of days, though. It always looks like it's at a cusp of a thunderstorm.
Yeah, I think a cow just flew by the window like the scene from Twister.
It is quite dark in your feed there.
Yeah. Oh, are you guys not seeing me at all?
Well, we're seeing you a little. It's flickering, though.
There you go.
There you go. Put a light on, yeah.
TV lights, baby.
There you go.
What else did I want to talk about today? Yeah, so back in studio, that was fun. It was actually good. Baba sat at one far end of the desk. I sat at the other far end of the desk, and it was just like old times. It felt really. And by the way, I don't like that show. It's Bob's show. I'm just the evil quizmaster, Puffy. You would have loved this. So that is a 21-minute show, I guess. Lester would know the best. What's a half an hour content?
23:15. It's 23:15.
23:15?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So half an hour content is that we actually have to do a 23-minute show. The missive, which is something the evil quizmaster who puts together, which is his document, which is essentially the outline of the show.
Yeah.
How long do you think a document you would need, Puffy, for a 21-minute show? Like when we're doing a Leafs pregame, the missive would be 5 pages, 6 pages?
Usually about 8 pages, but that's including like some stats, yeah.
Okay. So this is 22 pages.
What? Like that's serious.
Page a minute.
22 pages.
That's why he cannot be allowed to be on his own for too long.
He sent it to me the night before, about 10 p.m., and I said, okay, I'll go over this because Jimmy likes to go over his show and sort of prep, think about what he's going to say. I got through like page 3 before I realized I started skimming through to see how many pages it was.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'm not doing this. I'm just going to wing it. I'm just going to wing it live, Puffy.
Wow.
But good to be back, and we will be back. We'll be covering the draft lottery. This will be out. What day is today? Tuesday? This will probably be out before Friday, right?
Yeah.
Back in studio Friday for the draft lottery. Then I'm going to go a little vacation for a little bit, and then we'll be back as soon as hockey gets back, assuming it does get back. Other big news this week, the match comes next week. Have you guys you heard about the big golf match between Kyle Dubas and Jimmy? You heard about
this? I have heard about this.
Dubas has already reached out to me for dirt. He can talk some trash.
He would. He's crafty, that Dubas. He scares me a little bit. So Kyle Dubas, and an unnamed, the partner, I can say it now, because I believe it's going to be, well, I don't know Dubas's partner, but I'm going to tell you who I'm going to announce as my partner. I have to announce my partner at 5 p.m. today on Overdrive, the TSN radio show in Toronto. Yeah. And I went through a lot of different choices. I went through a vetting process. I did some auditions. Puffy, you didn't know I was auditioning you yesterday at Wooden Sticks.
I was. I guess I didn't know.
So I auditioned Dregs and Bob and Puffy in the same foursome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Puffy, you didn't have that confidence?
Puffy, you have the confidence on the first team?
I was a little nervy.
What'd you shoot yesterday, Puff?
Do scores really get kept in golf? Is that out? I thought it was determined by laughs and fun had by all.
And there was wonderful group for that. Darren Drager, by the way, is so tanned right now and dark. He looks like he was basically passed out in the Saskatchewan sun for 17 days. His entire body is various shades of red, brown, and purple. Wouldn't you say that, Puffy?
Yeah, he was, and he was so dehydrated on the front nine. He ordered 6 bottles of water for the turn.
He ordered 6 bottles of water. We went up to the cart girl at the turn. Can I have 6 bottles of water?
That's when Bob's like, "Are some of those for me?" He's like, "No, those are for me."
So anyway, I went through, a lot of. I asked Rory McIlroy first.
Yes.
And Rory was busy.
Yeah.
He considered it, and by considering it, I don't think he ever read my tweet. I went through Dave Poulin, who's very steady golfer. He'd be a solid companion.
For sure.
Brian Hayes, O-Dog, Corey Warren, Brian Mudrick, 2 of the better golfers at TSN.
Yeah.
All my friends here on the Rubber Boots pod, Lester and Stoff.
Corey did play on the Great Lakes Tour at one point, so he might be a bit of a ringer.
Corey was going for it at one point. I know that. I don't know if he's still doing it anymore. Yeah, but I know
Tasha, Lindsay, Tessa. Tessa's very pregnant as we speak right now. So
I didn't know that.
She's an excellent golfer.
So that's like adding 2 teammates.
Kara, that would be helpful. In the end, though, we are at a time of divisiveness in our world, and my goal is to bring people together. So I picked someone who has berated me and my golf game for over a year now, and openly fought with me on the air, Jeff O'Neill.
Oh my God!
Oh, wow!
I am shocked. Because I was actually thinking this whole time that if he doesn't pick Jeff O'Neill, Jeff's gonna be very upset. Wow.
Well, I was worried that Dubas would pick Jeff O'Neill if I did not. And A, Jeff's a very good golfer, and B, I mean, that might have been actually better entertainment with Jeff and I chirping at each other the whole time.
Yes.
But we could have seeded a divide there that could have never been repaired. And I do have to work with the man. So I said, why not reach out, right? I'm Obama. I'm not Trump. I'm going to reach out, bridge the gap, mend the fences, and together we're going to win this championship.
Yeah, but the thing is, you had one bad shot, he's going to be all over you. He's going to blame you for making him crappy. So you're screwed.
This is true. And also there's a 6-hole alternate shot. Called the 18 holes. So, and for non-golf fans, there's different ways you can play a match in golf. And I won't bore you with all the details, but the first 6 holes of this match are going to be you play your own ball all the way through, and basically whoever gets the best score of your pair goes against the best score of the other pair, and that's who wins the hole or whatever. The next 6 holes, I think, is a modified scramble where we both drive. We take the best drive of the 2, and then you play 2 balls in. And then the last is the alternate shot. And that is where the relationship could crumble if it has not crumbled for the first 12 holes, where Jeff takes 1 shot. So if I drive the ball and then drive it into some horrific lie in the woods, I will have to hear about it from the O-Dog.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's crush you.
Going to be an absolute and utter disaster. So
by the time when is this taking place?
This is taking place next Tuesday at TPC. TPC is this unbelievable golf facility in Caledon, Ontario, north of Toronto. It used to be called Osprey Valley. Unbelievable 72 holes. 54 holes. They have 3 18s. And yeah, it's going to be, I think we're raising $60,000 for charity.
Well, that's great.
How?
Huh?
Like, where's the money coming from?
Corporate, buddy. It's corporate money.
Really?
Big corporations, when they heard the names involved, they backed up.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta ask.
Is this thing being televised?
That's exactly my question. Yes.
Hold on. Let me answer that question as soon as I plug in my computer, which is about to die. Oh, hold up.
Must be a valve problem.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. What are those balls he's got on his desk there?
He's stalling on the TV question.
Yeah. I wonder what are those balls? Are those rugby balls or
No, that's that looks CFL, AFL. What does that say?
Can't see.
I think one might be an AFC ball and NFC. No, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's good. It's high time we picked apart. He's like, I see he's got a nice chair, that nice brown chair at the back there. I wonder what that's for.
Well, I'll be snapping a pic of this for next week.
Sorry about that.
Like I was saying, Duthie's incredible.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
We're so lucky to have him as a friend.
Attentive lover.
Hey, the two footballs in the back there, James, what are they? We're having a bit of a debate here.
I'm not a souvenir guy or a collectibles guy whatsoever. But the one thing I do, I think when I went to my first Super Bowl in 2002 in New Orleans, I'm like, I have to grab something. So I ended up buying a football that had the two teams' names on it. And so that became my tradition. So every Super Bowl I buy the sort of I'm going to grab it for you. So wait a second. Was it the Rams? Yeah, the Rams and the Patriots. That was last year's, right? So ATL, Atlanta, Rams versus Patriots.
Mm.
And you know what? The other, I put them in my background because I didn't feel I had anything sporty in my background. But I also think that like the ladies probably think that they were game balls given to me during my time at Clemson. You know, remember that one Clemson game when I got 2 interceptions against North Carolina? Game ball.
Tar Heels never saw it coming.
Dabo Sweeney gave me the game ball.
Jimmy, why would they be giving you footballs when you were on a soccer scholarship?
Damn it.
You see, Puffy, football in Europe is soccer.
All comes together perfectly. So the question I think that was asked when I went to get my computer charger was, is this televised? So there is social media, extensive social media coverage, and I think TSN is now sending out 2 cameras. I don't know if they're going to cover the whole 18 holes. But this is a relevant and pertinent question because, I don't know how Jimmy's going to react to the pressure of the cameras. Right? It's a different thing than being out there with Puffy and Bob McKenzie and Drager.
You just got to be confident.
Got to be confident. Should be okay. And secondly, the O-Dog apparently does not have a great history.
Oh, he does not.
Speaking of the O-Dog, after he agrees, after I send him the text saying, hey, will you be my partner for this thing? He said, yeah, sure, I'd love to. And then he texts me, goes, hey, there's not cameras and stuff around, because like I'm a 4 handicap, but when cameras come, I just go sideways. And I said, maybe should have asked you that question before I picked you as my partner.
I think maybe what you should do, Jimmy, is make sure, like, if you can't get O-Dog, you better have a backup, because I could see him calling you and go, listen, I'm out. I can't do it. I don't want to expose myself this way.
Or he just walked off the course after 7.
Was it Drags who said this yesterday? Told the story about. Oh yeah. So when Drags was a young buck reporter, he was covering some NHLPA golf event or something. Is that correct?
Yes.
Puffy, do I have that right?
Correct. Yes, that's correct.
And so I was telling him yesterday that I was contemplating picking O-Dog as my partner, and we were having the same discussion about cameras, and he said he went out and took some shots of O-Dog with the camera.
Because he said O-Dog was in the lead. Like, he was near the leader for the tournament.
Yeah, it was an actual tournament, and then O-Dog started hitting it sideways. And finally came over to Drags and said, get that camera out of here.
Drags thought he was joking, and then he's like, this guy's serious.
So there's an over-under going on right now, a prop bet on whether O will make it through the round or will walk off this charity event at 7.
Wow.
7 holes?
Yeah, I would bet he walks.
No, I'm gonna keep my partner around. It's gonna be great. We're gonna kick that Dubas's ass. I already have all sorts of chirps prepared for Dubas. There aren't good ones yet. I'm like, hey, Get your analytics can't get you out of that bunker. Newbie. That's not very good, is it?
Who do you think his partner's going to be? Think he's going to get Shanny?
I don't know. I don't know if he'll go for one of the players on his team. Maybe that'll be too close to him. Shanny would be good. I don't know. He says he's got a big name, a recognizable name ready. So I don't know if he's announcing. I'm announcing this at 5. So I guess that Stoff could insert Dubas's pick if he finds out before tomorrow, and say, and we'll all go. So this is the part where Stoff's going to insert Dubas's pick.
The partner Kyle Dubas has chosen is comedian Jerry D.
Wow.
I can't believe it. And I said
not
it.
see that.
I did not see Tiger Woods. At all.
Yeah. So anyway, that is for next week, and a lot of money for charity. So we're really looking forward to it. I will be nervous though. I will say this because it is. Like I'll tell you yesterday, Puffy, this is going to sound like a humble brag, but I needed to par the last 3 holes to shoot 79 with you yesterday. Yes. And I was, I get a little nervous, even there, like on 18, you got to make par. I get a little nervous. So you add a bunch of cameras and all these other people, and it's going to be a little dicey.
Just believe in yourself. If you think you can do it, you will do it.
You know what I'll do for Dubas? I'll just dress up like David Pasternak. That'll rattle.
Oh, that'll rattle him big time.
Hey, yes. Give him a little Game 7 magic.
Or you want to wear a Columbus Blue Jackets jersey?
Ooh, that's never gotten anybody upset about it. Right. Ooh. Stoff, you want to guide us through things that I saw on Twitter?
Yeah, sure.
Freaky pigs, strange chicks, world affairs, polar bears, fake news, nice shoes, big boobs, jack dudes, all of these things and more as I sat on the shitter. Things that I saw on Twitter.
All right, so we'll start off in Spain, where in Barcelona there was an opera that reopened for the very first time and held a sold-out concert. Now, the attendance for the concert were 2,300 houseplants. So they had an orchestra perform for a bunch of houseplants. So throughout these past few weeks, we've seen stuff like fake noise at stadiums, jerseys on seats. I think Korean baseball, they put a bunch of teddy bears in the stands, giant TVs that cover the stands. So what has been your favorite, and do you have any unique ideas as to what they could use?
That's actually our target audience for this podcast. Houseplants. they just
do well in that demographic.
They don't judge. They don't judge our lack of knowledge, our brat boy stupid humor. We love them. I liked in when they had the stuffed animals. Where was that? Where was that stuff? Soccer?
Korean baseball. I think I saw that in. Yeah.
Oh, that was cute.
Yeah.
Houseplants. I don't know. It's a little weird.
I don't mind the plants. I think the plants is a good idea. I can imagine myself on stage singing. I'll be like, yeah, I see you, baby. Shaking that leaf.
And if he has that magic going that night, he'll go home with 2 of them.
I went home with a ficus last night.
Hey, man, that's not a bad way to go.
Can you imagine? I came on the next day and I had a neck brace. Sorry.
Jeez, man, it's worse than with the blow up doll.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I've watched some of the soccer games, and they've been pumping in the crowd noise, which it's actually been good. I the ones that are silent, it's hard to watch.
I think you need it.
You need some kind of noise. I wouldn't mind if they did like old 80s montage music, like they did like Karate Kid and stuff, and just like throw that over the.
You're the best. Come on.
My fear with that is like in a 90-minute soccer game, like 10 minutes in, everyone's just going to be done.
Yeah.
Because with that music on, you're just going to go all out for the first 10 minutes, and that'll be it.
No, I
Everyone's
think we asked that question. I think we asked that question on the quiz, and a lot of 2 of the 3 guys I think wanted just the natural sound. But you're right. I think you might think that conceptually, but when you actually see it, I think they need to pump in noise. I know that they were contemplating virtual reality crowd in hockey, but I don't think that's possible. When in my much lauded performance in Goon 2. Goon 2, so when they did Goon 1, they used real people and just tried to isolate the shots so there was only like 30 people. There's no big crowd wide shots, I don't believe, in Goon 1. And in Goon 2, Jay Baruchel decided to use virtual reality, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? But fake fans.
Green screen,
CGI fans.
CGI, yeah. Okay.
But he told me it was so painstaking, like the months process it was to put them in and make them look realistic. So the idea of actually doing it live for a game, I think we've come a long way. I don't think we're close to that right now, where you can cut it in and have the fans look real. So I don't know.
I wonder if they could pump in like audio from people around the world that were actually watching. So when something happens, it's actually a real reaction. You know what I mean?
Well, like people in their living room like this?
Yeah. So you could actually be sitting there and somehow they could take the audio. I'm not saying it's possible.
Do you think that all people could be trusted? You know how many
I was gonna say
hanging on that?
It's a noble idea.
I love it.
I never thought of it. I never thought of it any other way except watching a game. And if somebody scores a goal, you're like, yeah, or whatever. So,
yeah, or some other colorful language.
Yeah, I don't think we as a society right now should be given the chance to do that. Yeah.
What else you got, Stuff?
So I've noticed on social media the past, I guess, couple of months now, since we've been doing the quarantine and the whole COVID thing, there's been a lot of brackets popping up. So people taking, 64 things and, dwindling it down to a champion. I've seen one for shows, songs, movies. I saw one for Barstool the other day. They did HBO shows. So I was thinking we should take this concept and steal it for something of our own. So I'm asking you guys, what could we do a bracket of with 64 different, I guess, teams, where we would determine the winner?
Wow. Well, let's see. First of all, there are a million of these things. Almost too many, right? Like they've done every, like you could, Lester could do favorite houseplants, and that's where we're at right now with brackets. We could do guests, like guests on the Rubber Boots Pod.
Favorite guests on the Rubber Boots Pod.
Lindsay Hamilton
all from season
versus,
1.
Sarah Orlesky in the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
Emilio.
Eric Stone Street versus Unnamed Dream Analyzer.
Yes.
In the West region.
The best would be people who haven't been on would win.
Trying to think who else has been on the pod.
Jay Baruchel.
Yeah, Luongo.
Yeah, that was early. Remember when we were going to do interviews every
Luongo.
single week? Yeah,
Luongo. Yep.
Luongo, Jay Baruchel. We had Jared Keithco from Letterkenny.
Yep. Technically, Roddy would have been a guest. Of course.
Emilio. We could have a fake character bracket.
Yeah.
We could.
Yeah, we could have Emilio.
Oh my God. 1999 Puffy. And well, my God, what's the guy? The guy that did our intern friend Scott
Reynolds.
Scott Reynolds, yes.
Well, he was the man who created 1999.
Exactly. Okay.
He is also a real human.
He is. That's true. That's
true.
Yeah. See, that's a very good point.
Some of the stuff he does in Berlin, I don't know if it's
no,
but not humane.
We're not sure.
I wonder have we heard from him during COVID? Is he okay?
That's a good question.
I think Scotty wrote me. I actually think he sent me something. He might have sent me a song, and I just lost it in my COVID haze. So Scotty, if you're out there, I think the last thing he sent us was a little controversial with some of our listeners. So.
Oh well, it was that whole sex club, that German sex club thing or something. It's like
he's definitely not. He's there's no shortage of edge on Scotty. That's why we love him.
He's going for it.
Polarizing.
Polarizing. What else you got there, Stoff?
Let's move down here to some listener tweets. Whole Wheat Bread tweets in, thank you, Stoff, for the spoiler alert. So I just want to say you're welcome.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
What was your spoiler? Your spoiler alert was like a 30-year-old movie.
Hey, man, some people listening to this podcast are 25 years old.
Very true.
I haven't seen that movie yet. All right, we got an a-hole or a-okay from a listener.
Hit it.
Is it a-hole or is it okay?
They basically sent us a link to this story. So our listener is Chad Gillis, and I'm just going to give you a quick synopsis of what this story was. It's a gentleman complaining that, I guess when he was young, his parents taught him to wash his private areas with a rag.
Yeah.
And then every day throw a rag into the corner of the shower, and his mother would get it when she's doing the laundry.
So he does this in the shower, right?
Yes. Like while he's washing himself, I guess he has a special regiment, I guess he does, with a rag for that particular area.
All right.
So that's not how I took it.
Okay.
I took it like after he went to the bathroom. He
Ew.
only used a rag.
No, I think he said he wiped. I think it's in the shower, because why would you then throw it in the shower? That's
Exactly.
even disgusting.
so it gets clean.
I thought it was part of their showering procedure, because if it's the other way, why would any other human being ever pick that up?
Exactly.
Why would have anyone even married him? So the next place with his wife is tired of picking up his poo-poo rags or whatever, right? What does she call them?
Butt rags.
Butt rags.
She's tired of picking up his butt rags from the shower, and basically he's saying because she does the laundry, so if she wants him to do the laundry, she'll have to do the dishes or something like that. I mean, this is pretty wild stuff.
This is a disgusting human being. Let's just say it right.
I have a hypothetical for you guys.
Okay.
For $5 million a year, you would have to be the personal handler of the butt rag for either the TSN hockey panel or for the panel at Overdrive.
Wow.
So either way, you have
Lord.
Jeff O'Neill as one of your clients.
So hold on. Is this one rag between all of them, or
Everyone's separate rag?
Hold on. That's a good question. Is there a communal rag?
No, not a communal rag. Everyone gets their own separate rag, but you're in charge of its maintenance for $5 million.
So every day you drive from home to home picking up the rags.
No, they leave them for you in a certain location after.
in one place?
That's pretty convenient.
So
But
One-
by your definition, is the rag the shower rag that Stoff and I believe this story is pertaining to, or is the rag the way you interpreted the story?
Well, for $5 million a year, I think it's going to be
the latter.
my interpretation of the rag.
I don't want our listeners to turn this off. It is a disgusting story, but I have to assume that this guy, if it's in the shower, which we would assume, because if not, this woman should have divorced him years ago. So if he's just cleaning himself in the shower, I would assume that he would rinse the rag in the shower.
That's
correct?
what I think.
And then rinse it and then throw it in the corner. And in which case, and he's already hopefully been in the shower for a few minutes before he touches that area. You wouldn't go to that area first.
No.
And what was the episode of Friends where Joey and Chandler are talking and they're talking about soap?
Why can't we use the same toothbrush, but we can use the same soap?
Because soap is soap. It's self-cleaning.
All right, well, next time you take a shower, think about the last thing I wash and the first thing you wash.
If he's been in the shower for a while, hopefully he's already kind of clean when he rags, and then the rag rinses the rag, in which case I'm handling the panels rag. I'll clean up Bobby and Dregs and Foolie.
We already have masks. We already have plastic gloves.
It is Foolie, Bob, and O-Dog.
Okay, hold on. And I'll throw one more thing in. You have to hand clean them.
How do you hand clean a rag?
Oh, you wash it in a sink.
Oh, I thought you meant I had to hand clean O-Dog.
I'm going to need $10 million for that one.
This is going very south. This is gonna be
But
very
also
South here.
that year, that you have to be able to, like, O-Dog is now going to be able to call you his butt rag boy.
That has to be your font when you appear on television.
But you're making $5 million. Like, no, tax free.
Look, listen, if you're telling me that's all I got to, I just like, obviously I can afford to get the proper PPE. I go in there and I take care of it. Yeah, I'll do it for $5 million. Sure.
Puffy, isn't that essentially what you do already?
Minus the rag.
Look at his face.
Oh, that was an entirely disgusting segment.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a bracket of our most disgusting segments.
Oh my God.
That can be in there with Puffy's hypothetical from season 2 about
Swapping mothers and such.
Yeah, mother and mother-in-law. Which I believe one of our listeners suggested to us on, I think it was William McAvoy or somebody.
It was a variation of that, but it was also very disturbing.
Yes. Anyway, on the butt rag thing, this guy's got to grow up and just take care of that on his own. You want to stay married, have some decency towards your wife.
100%, I agree.
Come on.
And how long could it take to like take that and throw it into the hamper?
Rinse the little rag and throw it in the hamper, and everybody's good for it. Come on.
Yeah.
Joke. The thing stop about the art that they tried to fix the face again.
Yeah, so this one's a little more visual. But this is also, we're sticking to our Spanish theme, like with the opera, but this was also in Spain, and basically a painting that has been restored twice, and every time it looks worse. Now, so we'll tweet these pictures out, but it's basically as if it looks like someone took a cloth over the original and then just kind of drew a face, like with a marker on it, essentially. And we're talking about paintings worth a lot of money.
It's hilarious. It's kind of like, remember the Ronaldo? Was it the Ronaldo statue? It's that bad. It's like it's this unbelievable painting, and they've turned it into something that Puffy would draw with a button.
The person restoring it ends up charging like $2,000 for the restoration, which is just crazy.
Wow.
I just realized I have insider trading in 20 minutes. So we have about 7 minutes of quality content left to give the people before we leave. Was there anything else on there, Stuff?
No, I do want to shout out I Drink Coffee and Weimara.
Yes, we do.
Our awesome sponsors.
We are horrible. And seeing in the way that we've treated them, if you're open for sponsorship next year, we'll be much better.
That's our guarantee.
Write us at Rubber Boots Pod.
I would legit like us to have like a alcohol sponsor. Like I think
we need some booze involved, right?
A tequila or something like that.
Yeah, or at least just sponsor Puffy.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
Maybe Lester, your massage, that cheesy massage parlor you go to could sponsor something.
If it's still
level
going.
wellness, no.
If it hasn't been rated.
Hey, listen, it's legit. It's legit.
Do you want the Swedish, the deep tissue, or the Ethiopian? Before we leave, things that I saw on Twitter. Have you guys seen? A lot of people were. I don't know if it's on TikTok or Snapchat or something, but there's an app where you can change men to women, and everybody was posting.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of my favorites, Club Pro Guy, tweeted all the Masters champions as women.
Yeah.
Very funny to see Tiger Woods and Phil and all these guys. But scared the living hell out of me because the Mike Weir as a woman, you guys can look it up under Club Pro Guy's account, or I believe Bob Weeks may have retweeted it, is a dead ringer for my girlfriend Tracy when I was 20 and 21.
Wow.
2 years in a relationship, and now I realize that I dated the female Mike Weir.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm talking like bang on.
Wow. Is this going to make it weird with you and Mike now? Because I know you kind of have a friendship.
Yeah, I lost touch with Tracy, so it's not going to be weird with her, but it's going to be weird with...
a better weird?
Going to be a little weird with Mike.
Is that why you didn't ask him to golf with you?
That's why you didn't ask him to be my partner?
Yeah.
I can't look at him the same way.
The tension on the course would just be too much.
you ask him out for a drink, we'll stop you.
Before we go, I want a little editorial comment today. The handwritten letter is a lost art. When you guys were young, did you write any athletes or anything handwritten letters?
No.
I would write.
I did.
One of the greatest days of my young Jimmy's life, I wrote Earl Campbell, running back for the Houston Oilers, a letter, and I got an autographed picture back. It's amazing, by the way, back in the 70s and 80s, if you wrote players and teams, you would get stuff back. And Earl Campbell to James from your friend Earl Campbell or whatever, right?
That's
and when you're 10 years old or 8 years old,
that's big, man.
That's unbelievable. So I got this little letter from this guy named Cam McIsaac. And look at he wrote like hockey things on the back. I'm just showing the envelope for our listeners here. And I guess that I'd wished Cam a happy birthday somewhere along the way. Maybe his dad asked me on Twitter. And he wrote a handwritten letter saying, "Thank you for the birthday message from Cam." And you know what? I don't get handwritten letters very often anymore. So Cam and Cam's father or mother who told him to do that, handwritten letters mean a lot.
That's awesome.
That's our little teaching moment from today's edition of the pod. Special ending, wasn't it?
It was very much so.
Also, pray for Jimmy. Jimmy had a what do they call him? Echocardiogram today.
Oh no, Jimmy, what's going on?
I'm dying. No, I think I have just a slightly irregular heartbeat or something in my last medical. Not even like a little murmur or something.
Oh.
So I was up at the South Lake, and I only mentioned that to say, man, they're running an efficient operation up there at South Lake. All the nurses, the doctors, they have things under control. It was a very pleasant experience for going to the hospital. I think Jimmy's going to be just fine, okay? My dad had an irregular heartbeat for like the last 30 years of his life, and he was just fine, all right? But, if you lose Jimmy, during a panel hit or, on the 12th hole of a match against Kyle Dubas, I love all you guys.
Look at you, buddy.
Yeah. Right back at you.
I'll handwrite a letter to you.
Stay away from Brooksy, Lester. All right?
Why are you blaming me?
We'll get together soon for the Rubber Boots Pod. Love you guys.
Hey, how are ya? I got a question that I really wanna ask you. Wait, don't hang up. I need to know, so I'm gonna try and push my luck. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank at the fair? Oh, I know it's a little strange, my obsession with your choice of footwear in the rain. And I know that you're on TV, but I need you to put your boots up on the desk for me. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank or the fair? This is the part they call the bridge. A bridge has water under it. With rubber boots you can wade in the water. Just don't fall in. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank at the fair? Do you really like the dunk tank at the fair? Dunk tank.
Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight?